Today we're going to be walking through connecting PostgreSQL via Weave into your warehouse of choice, which could be the Weave warehouse or a target destination that you've previously configured. Previously, in the past, connecting a new source to any warehouse or data lake technology would have been a week or two of your developer's time, setting up the integration layers and bringing through data that you can then use. And in this video, we're going to run through how you can get it done in Weave in less than 5 minutes. Once you've signed into your Weave account and gone to integrations, add new integrations, you'll be able to click on the PostgreSQL tile here and then open up Configure Integration. To set up the integration, we're going to need the server address of the server, username and password with appropriate permissions, and network access to have been set up for Weave to connect to the database. Any issues configuring that, reach out to support and we'll be happy to help. For the server address, we can pop that in, which will be specific to your server. The port defaults to 5432, which is default for Postgres, but you can, if yours is a custom port that's been configured, you can enter that there and it'd override the default. Source name is unique to yourself, and if you're connecting one or more Postgres databases, you may want to name something that distinguishes this Postgres server from the others in your Weave dashboard. Database name will be specific to your server, what you've named the database. I think the default is Postgres, but you may have configured it to be something different. And then schema is optional. Enabling if your server supports SSL TLS connections and that's set up, leave that enabled. If not, we wouldn't recommend it, but you can disable that to authenticate. On the next screen, it's going to ask for your username and password that you're going to provide. If you populate those and then press next. On the sync schedule, it'll set one up for us. The default will actually be daily moving forward, and then leave enable incremental sync enabled, and the Weave AI will look for columns and distinguishing attribute columns where we can do a incremental load to avoid bringing more data than what's required. In your tables to sync, if you know the table names, you can enter them here as a comma separated list, or we can select them later once discovered, which we'll go through. And if you want to combine one or more tables in a single query or a specific query into a Weave table, you can enter the select statement here and then press next. The next one is a test connection. So we're just going to test connection and confirm that we can reach the database. Once this goes through, it's then set up and ready to complete, and we can click on Go to My Integrations. Once you're back at the dashboard, you'll see the connection that we've set up, and if we hit Configure, it'll bring up the tables that it's discovered. From here, we can just enable the ones that we want, so say customers, maybe departments, orders, and order items and products, why not? Then scroll to the bottom and hit Save Changes. Then destinations may have already been configured. The default is Weave Warehouse, but you can add other destinations which will be growing all the time, and your default destination will be here. And then in your sync schedule, if there's a few, you may need to move across, but we should see the default being set up here for a daily sync. You can configure the sync here, rename it if needed, set it up to run every hour to weekly, and a specified start time. The source is the friendly name that you've named it, and then the destination where you want to land it, and then an optional description if needed. If we come back, everything is now set up, and your PostgreSQL will run through and integrate with your desired target destination on the next run. If you wanted to push one through straight away, you can open up the connection and hit resync, and it'll force it to run through immediately for whichever particular table that you'd like. And any issues, let us know on support and we'll be happy to help.